A warm welcome and very good evening. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir, audible.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So again,
Yes,
warm
sir.
welcome and very good evening to all delegates presented today's session. We are honored today to welcome Dr. Vaibhav Dadu sir, a distinguished academician and revered figure in the realm of Ayurveda, as our esteemed resource person for today's online session on basic concepts of Ayurveda, Panchmahabhuta Siddhanta, Loka Purusha Samya, Samanya Vishesh Siddhanta. Dr. journey exemplifies a commitment to excellence in Ayurvedic education and research. With a PhD in Ayurvedic Samhita Siddhanta from Gujarat Ayurveda University, Jamnagar, and a post-graduation degree MD in Ayurveda Samhita, his academic acumen is complemented by a wealth of practical experiences. His academic accolades, including a gold medal in MD and distinction throughout his academic journey, underscore his dedication to scholarly pursuits. Dr. Dadu sir's expertise spans various domains within Ayurveda, encompassing Samhita Siddhanta, philosophy, history, teaching methodology, and research methodology. His proficiency is not confined to theoretical knowledge, but also extend to practical applications, evident by his adeptness in university examinations, representing in Ayush, New Delhi, and his pivotal role in Central Council of Indian Medicine visitations. A prolific author and a researcher, Dr. Vaibhav Sir's contribution transcend conventional boundaries. With 7 books bearing ISBN numbers, 18 articles in index and peer-reviewed journals, and his involvement as a member of editorial boards and a reviewer of 3 esteemed journals, his impact on Ayurvedic scholarship is profound. With over 16 years of teaching experience, Dr. Vaibhav Sir has nurtured countless aspiring Ayurvedic scholars, from his tenure as a lecturer in various prestigious institutions to his current role as a leader at the Institute of Teaching and Research in Ayurveda, ITRA Jamnagar. His dedication to imparting knowledge and shaping future generations of Ayurvedic practitioners is unparalleled. Dr. Dadu sir's influence extends beyond the classroom, as evidenced by his successful execution of projects like Ayush Guru, a web learning program, and his pivotal role in coordinating various governmental initiatives and transitional curriculum programs. In conclusion, Dr. Vaibhav Dadu sir's presence enriches our session, promising an insightful exploration of Ayurvedic principles. We extend our heartfelt gratitude for gracing us with his experience and look forward to a transformative learning experience under his guidance. Please, sir, welcome, sir.
Thank you, Amit ji, for this wonderful introduction. Actually, I'm not so much talented as you said. That will be revealed only. That is said that action speaks louder than words. So once we start this program, this learning experience, then only I think you may justify, or the listeners may justify about your introduction. Thank you for this sweet words. So
Welcome, sir.
thank you. So I start with the Mangla Charan. Guru Rev Gatihi Gurumev Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave Na Guru Paramam Shishurasmi Guroho Matirasti Gurau Mama Pahi Guru. I heartily welcome to all the delegates from various institutes of India who have joined here for this 3 months extensive course on research methodology and statistics, a very neglected field actually in the realm of Ayurveda, and it is the need of the hour. So my topic of today, I shall be sharing the screen. Yes. The topic which has been given to me is not directly related to the field of research, particularly the contemporary research methodology, but it lies at the heart of all the research activity or all the knowledge that moves around the stream of Ayurveda. From the day one of the BAMS journey, all the scholars who have joined here might have had some bitter experiences when they came across these basic concepts of Ayurveda, Panchmahabhuta Siddhanta, the Loka Purusha Samya Siddhanta, Samanya Vishesh. These are only some of the few which have been chosen by the organizers. There is a long list, and I want to convey here that these concepts of Ayurveda, or we can say these concepts of the Indian knowledge tradition, are the core principles which are the cause of survival of Ayurveda through these centuries. No other science in this world could survive such a long tradition, such a long span of time, and still it is flourishing. So it is because of these basic principles of Ayurveda that the science of Ayurveda has survived and seen so much of ups and downs, and still it is flourishing, and now it has become the mainstream of the Indian medical system and the world also. So I will be restricting myself to these topics only, which are the Panchmahabhuta Siddhanta, Loka Purusha Samya Siddhanta, and Samanya Vishesh Siddhanta. So you know very well what is Maulika Siddhanta. So word Maulik itself means original, that is, which is lying at the root, which nourishes, just like a plant you see. The plant exists because of the basic principles. So these which are lying at the moola, that's why we say Urdhva Moolam Adhar Shakha. Always the mool, that is in our body also we see the moola, that is the head, is at the top and the body lies at the bottom. So similarly is the case with the Ayurveda. As I told you, Ayurveda survives only because of its time-tested basic principles. So we can define all those siddhantas, all those principles as Maulik Siddhanta, as those principles which are helping in any way towards attainment of the two aims of Ayurveda. And when we talk about the present day research for which we are gathering here, all those principles which are supporting to the research of Ayurveda, they are also included as the basic principles of Ayurveda research. So this is very clear that these basic principles of Ayurveda are the original thoughts, original theories which were proposed by erstwhile seers. Now we call them scientists, or we are trying them to prove or revalidate in the current scenario. So all these original theories or concepts which are helping in any way towards attaining the goal of health, maintenance, as well as treatment. And now we have to add another one, which is research. All those principles of Ayurveda, all those original theories, all those postulations, they are all included under the basic principles of Ayurveda. So there cannot be any boundary that this is the number of basic principles, or it should be 5 or 10 or 20. No, they are innumerable. As we know, whatever, as the time changes, whatever new researches are being carried out throughout India, and once proved, they are transformed as principles, they attain the status of principles. They all are going to be termed as the basic principles of Ayurveda. So I think that is clear that all those principles which are original contributions of Ayurveda, which are always evolving, and those theories which are helping to attain the two aims of Ayurveda in any manner, they are all considered as basic principles of Ayurveda. So now what is the need? Because many a times this is the question which is put forward, or this perplexes actually to all the scholars of Ayurveda from the day one, when they study the physics, chemistry, biology, nowadays NEET, and they enter into the stream of Ayurveda. There are a lot of questions in their mind, whether they will be becoming doctors or what is going to be their status. Because when they come across the Indian knowledge tradition, IKT or Indian knowledge systems, they are relevant from the day they were proposed. They have been the bone, or you can say the core of this Ayurvedic science or all the Indian sciences. So what is the need of basic principles? We start with the research itself. For the research, you require basic principles because that is our strength. Just imagine that if there were no basic principles of Ayurveda, then would Ayurveda survive? This is a big question. So all the research, whatever we want to conduct, that will be revolving around the basic principles of Ayurveda. Because the thing is that we want to, the research in Ayurveda is not only searching for the new. The research in Ayurveda, the first aim of research in Ayurveda is to revalidate what is existing right now. So this revalidation of research, revalidation of the existing knowledge is the key. Just like many research projects we undertake as being the national institutes. So we are trying to revalidate why did Charaka said that, or why does the Vaisheshik Darshan, or why does this philosophical school of Sankhya talk about only Panchmahabhuta? Why are there only 9 Karan Dravyas? What is the basis of the formation of Panchmahabhuta? They are all the topics of research. So this research again is based on the basic principles of Ayurveda. And as I told you, very important thing is identity of Ayurveda. Without the basic principles of Ayurveda, Ayurveda will lose its identity. The uniqueness of Ayurveda is because of its basic principles. Knowledge arena, undoubtedly, as it has been the Indian knowledge sciences or Indian knowledge tradition, all the Indian knowledge sciences or knowledge traditions, they are all owing to the basic principles which are given in the, which are present in all the various, just like the darshanas or philosophical schools or Upanishads, Vedas, all the knowledge is coded there. Similarly, when we are talking about the globalization of Ayurveda, so globalization of Ayurveda can be done because all of the Western world is looking towards Ayurveda only because of its pure nature. They don't want something which is mixed with the contemporary system of medicine, because contemporary system of medicine is evolving as by the hour. It is not static. So they are always demanding that we do not want this Western sciences, just like some of the people propose that there should be mix of the two. But the Western sciences want to understand Ayurveda in its pure form. So this globalization is possible only with the help of the basic principles. Similarly, understanding and interpretation in the current medical fraternity. Understanding in a proper manner, for that you require basics of the grammar. Sanskrit grammar is the key. And along that, you require some tools for understanding, which we will be dealing later, just like the Tantra Yuktis, which are the canons of exposition, Arthashraya. They are all having some practical application. And the biggest contribution of them is understanding the text, which are coded form. So they are called as Tantra or Samhitas, which need to be decoded according to the need of the time or need of the hour. So similarly, comparative utility, whatever we see today, many medical systems are evolving. So when we see the comparison, as I told you, Ayurveda exists only because of its basic principles. That is the identity, that is the uniqueness of Ayurveda. Similarly, we have all the innovations, research and innovations, they can be done only with the basic principles. And undoubtedly, the treatment. The pure Ayurvedic treatment will not be possible without the knowledge of basic principles. So now coming to what are the main basic principles of Ayurveda? Most of you know them very well. Only a few have been mentioned here because I was told to talk only about these. So main theory we are going to talk is about the Panchmahabhuta, the 5 basic elements. Similarly, we are going to talk about Samanya Vishesh Siddhanta, which is a part of the Shad Padartha envisaged in the Vaisheshik philosophical school, normally translated as 6 categories. Then very, very important principle, the whole world is talking about it in terms of climate change. COP, we see every now and then we have COP going on all across the world. There is a lot of talk about it, the impact of climate change on the human beings. That is Loka Purusha Samya. That is a very unique system which has been elaborated since the Upanishads. In the Vedas also the same thing has been mentioned, that we are a part of the world. We are not segregate, we are not separate. And that makes, this principle makes Ayurveda the holistic science. This makes Ayurveda a complete science, which is different from the other other contemporary medical schools. Karya Karana Siddhanta, which is actually called as research. Yesterday also I was hearing the eminent speaker, Tomar sir, who talked about the relation of the Karya Karana as research. So that was I referring to, that in Ayurveda, we are trying to establish the relationship between the cause and the effect, because this has been a widely accepted principle. Similarly, we are going to talk about dosha, dhatu and mala, which will be dealt separately by some other speaker. So these are the primary basic principles. And apart from that, there is another basic principle which is called Ayu Siddhanta, which is actually the first basic principle. Ayu Siddhanta is a very comprehensive principle which is talking about the 4 components, namely the four Siddhanta, yes. So 4 components, that is Sharira, Indriya, Sattva and Atma. These are the 4 Siddhantas, 4 components of Ayu, and which include all the Siddhantas of Ayurveda. So that is the primary Siddhanta, but as I told you, I will be restricting myself to the topic allotted to me, which are the Panchmahabhuta Siddhanta, the 5 basic elements, Samanya Vishesh, which is a part of Shat Padartha, 6 categories, and the Loka Purusha Samya Siddhanta and their utility in the present scenario. So starting with the Panchmahabhuta Siddhanta, I'm not talking about the theories of evolution now, because most of you are aware of it. It will be unnecessary repetitions. So I'm talking only the uniqueness here. Pancha Mahabhuta. Panch means 5, as you know. Maha means the gross, or having the gross utility. That doesn't mean, gross here doesn't mean about the size actually specifically. Maha means having the great utility, because since our childhood we have heard that Panchmahabhutas, after the death only the body is again disappearing or uniting with the Panchbhutas. So this is not only a theory present in Ayurveda, but this Panchmahabhuta theory is ubiquitous in the Indian knowledge tradition. Wherever you talk about Indian knowledge systems, or Bharat as Vishwaguru, as everyone is talking about these days. So that is not possible without understanding the theories of Panchmahabhuta. So there are 5: Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala and Prithvi. Akasha is roughly translated as ether or space. It is the place, actually, it is the matter where everything gets manifested. There are 2 things we need to understand these Indian theories. 2 theories we need to understand. One is called as phenomenon and other is called as the noumenon. Phenomenon means the actual transformation, the physical transformation, the journey from the non-manifest to the manifest. So that kind of theory that is unique, which is called as phenomenon. The other is noumenon, which is abstract. So Akash is such an abstract entity actually, where anything gets manifested. Similarly, when we talk about Vayu, it is roughly translated as air, motions of all the kinds. Agni, which is translated as fire, represents radiation and heat. Jala or water, which keeps in motion, it is responsible for viscosity and cohesion. And ultimately, it is the Prithvi, which is responsible for the mass, which is the earth, translated as earth, mass, and having the potential energy. So these are the 5 elements. Beyond them, there is nothing in this world which is devoid of these 5. Even we need to understand an atom. An atom, the modern atom, can also be proved to be Panchabhautika. So here comes the basic research in Ayurveda. Whenever we say that all the things are Panchabhautika, everything is made up of Panchmahabhutas. So we have to start with the atom, which is the building block. So an atom is said to be Panchbhautika because it is having space and it is having motion in the form of electrons are continuously moving, as we have studied. It has a lot of heat. There is cohesive force, the force which keeps it together. That is representing the Jala. And then we have the mass in the nucleus, which is representing the Prithvi. So in this way, this Panchmahabhuta lies at the base, at the heart of this atom. And that's why we can say that everything is Panchabhautika. And this theory is unique to the Ayurvedic tradition of medicine. Now, what is the importance of this? It is the complete theory and the doctrine of matter. That is very, very important. Whatever matter we say, it is having mass and occupies space. We say atom is that, matter is that which has mass and occupies space. So, anything which is matter is always made up of Panchmahabhutas. It talks about the evolution of matter. How does the matter get evolved? Very beautiful theory explained in the Sankhya theory, which is tried to be explained in the Western system also these days. They are trying a lot of researches to understand that. A very beautiful theory talking about the three main primary material, which is the Sattva, Raj and Tama. Very, very interesting theory, but here it will be out of my context if I quote that. So that evolution of matter that you need to understand. Conservation of energy, conservation of mass, that has been explained through the Panchmahabhutas. Generalization, Sarvam Dravyam Panchbhautikam, everything is made up of Panchmahabhutas, and that will be using this concept of generalization is used in the field of research today, which is explained as the Samanya, which we'll be talking after some time. Causality, again, very important principle, causality, because everything is said to be caused by the action of Panchmahabhutas. Why are we so different? All of us are just a product of Panchmahabhuta, but we are different because there is different combination. Just like you have hydrocarbons, carbon and hydrogen and oxygen, they combine in different this combinations, different single bond, double bond, triple bond, and that gives so much of variety. Similarly, here happens that we all are different because the level of Panchmahabhutas is different. The percentage, the combination of Panchmahabhutas is different in all of us. Similarly, these days, a lot of the quantum theory, people are trying to understand the quantum theory, nanotechnology in Ayurveda. These are all possible because, as I told you, everything starts from the Panchmahabhutas. And they are very, actually, the topic is very, very huge, but I would like to talk only which is relevant today, because the whole lecture can actually be given on Panchmahabhutas, about their origin, about their qualities, but I have tried to restrict myself to only whatever is required right now. Similarly, the new physics, contemporary physics also talks about the principle of causality and determinism theory. Determinism theory again believes that whatever is there, it is always because of some cause. So that is called as determinism theory, which is again resembling the Panchmahabhut theory of the Indian knowledge systems. Now, what is the importance? It is the classification of substance in Ayurveda is done on the basis of the Panchmahabhutas, on the basis of their properties. Similarly, how are you built? What is your uniqueness? Just like we say, the Prakriti, the concept of Prakriti in Ayurveda, the body type, the phenotype, that is also explained in terms of the Mahabhutas, that this person is having Parthiv Prakriti, this person is having Apya Prakriti, this person is having Vayavya Prakriti. So this nature, this phenotype, they are also explained on the basis of the Panchmahabhutas, the 5 basic elements. The classification is not only physical, but it is physico-chemical classification whenever we talk about the Dravya Guna, that is the drugs in Ayurveda. Now, this is very important thing that these 5 elements correspond to 5 sense organs. That is the most important contribution of the Sankhya system of Indian philosophy. World likes to have pleasure by these 5 senses. That is why we have 5 Mahabhutas only, 5 Mahabhutas. There is a very interesting example of the apple. It is said that the person actually came to India to study Sankhya system. And then when he studied Sankhya, he was so happy that these 5 senses, that's why there was Apple phone was discovered. 5 senses in a single gives smell, taste, vision, and for the smell was absent actually. So it is said that they put the logo of an apple. So that is very interesting. So smell and taste are taken care by that logo of apple. Vision, touch, and sound. They were the three which were added. So this is all our strength of our Indian knowledge systems. All our examinations, whatever our examinations are based, we do not rely on the laboratory examinations. Laboratory examinations are only to assist us. In Ayurveda, we do not depend only on the laboratory examinations because we have this strength of five senses: smell, taste, vision, touch, and sound. These five senses are actually related to the Panchmahabhuta. Just like when we talk in the next slide, we will understand this. These five senses, world moves towards these five senses. Everybody wants to enjoy these five. They want to satisfy these five senses. And that's why we have only the five Mahabhutas. So these five senses are the tools through which you cognize the external world. The whole external world is the cognition takes place through these five senses. So we can classify all the matter, whatever exists in this universe, into five categories, which can be cognized through the five senses. So in this way, that is the most important relevance of the Panchmahabhuta, that they correspond to the five senses. Now, what are the unique characteristics? That is very, very important for us to understand. Whether we are talking about research in Ayurveda or we are talking about the physiology, pathology, anatomy, at every stage of Ayurveda learning, we need to understand these characteristics of Ayurveda. So the unique characteristics of Ayurveda is explained in Charak Samhita, which all of you, I think, most of the people are from the Ayurvedic background. So they must have studied, which is very, very important. Khara, Drava, Chal, Ushnatva, Bhujad, Alind, Tejasam, Akashasya, Pratighato. So these five, Akash represents a pratighat, that is non-resistance, because of which you enter and exit. It provides the space, it provides the field in which all the matter gets manifested. Similarly, Vayu represents chalatva or mobility. Agni represents ushnatva or the heat. Jala or up represents dravatva or fluidity. And Prithvi represents roughness, kharatva. Now, this is very important that this journey began in the Vaisheshik system, which is again very, very important, as you have heard, the Parmanu. So it started with the origin of Parmanu. Vaisheshik system is the key to understand Ayurvedic fundamentals. So I'm not going here into the details of Vaisheshik system because again it will be the deviation. I am only talking about the relevance of Vaisheshik in the terms of Panchmahabhutas. So Akasha is the dominant in Shabda. Vayu is having Anushna Sheet Sparsha. This is again, see, the uniqueness of Ayurveda. In reality, when we talk about the pure Vayu, it is neither hot nor cold in touch. But when it comes to Ayurveda, when it unites with the other Mahabhutas, then it becomes Vayu, Vata Dosha, which is Sheet in nature. So these things we need to understand, that what is the basic difference between these philosophical schools or Indian knowledge tradition systems of Ayurveda and Ayurveda. Agni, it talks about the Shwet Bhasvar Rupa. See, the Rupa, the appearance will be there after Agni. So anything which appears form is because of Agni. So it is represented by the white shiny appearance, that is Shwet Bhasvar Rupa, and the Ushnatva, which is the heat. Jala represents Sneha. This is very important thing. Unctuousness. Snigdhata. This is a very important contribution of our acharyas, that the Jala or the upper is the cause of Sneha, Snigdhata, unctuousness, and also the Dravatva. Sneho apam vishesh gunaha. That is very, very important point when we talk about the researches on this hypercholesterol or the lipids. We should not forget this. We should never forget this concept of Jala or up Mahabhut. What is the status of Kleda in the body? Because Kled is also a type of up or Jala. So these are the fundamentals which we need to understand, and we need to take it to the laboratory or to the clinics. Similarly, Gandha, Prithvi. Prithvi is represented by Gandha, Gandhavati Prithvi. Wherever there is Gandha, wherever there is smell, Prithvi has to be there. Now, this is important to note that it is not that when we do not perceive Gandha, just like the human beings, we have our limitations. But when we see certain animals, just like dogs, they have the higher sense, they highly developed the organ of smell. So smell is present everywhere. Wherever there is Prithvi, smell has to be there. So we have to understand that when the stool is having lot of foul odor, when the body is producing foul odor, when the mouth halitosis or bad breath, these are all talking about the Vikruti or the problem at the level of Prithvi. And similarly, when we talk about the Samprapti or understanding of the Arsh or the piles, then also it becomes very interesting that this Gandhavati Apanavayu is unable to move out, and it moves upwards, and this, because of this fine particulate size of Prithvi Parmanus, it obstructs, it douses the Agni. These are all very important concepts. Generally, we do not take care of this. Whenever we study for only the examination, first year, Padartha Vijnana, we pass and we forget. But these are such axioms. The Acharyas today, the science calls it as axioms. Axioms means the truth which are never going to change. These are certain truths which are never going to change. And this is our strength. When we talk about Ayurveda as a separate system of medicine, when we talk about pure Ayurveda system of medicine, we have to pay attention on all these specific contributions of our Acharyas. So that's why these 5 basic elements are forming the base of the Ayurvedic understanding, treatment, as well as research. Now, coming to the importance, as I told you, Sushruta summarizes it, the importance of Panchmahabhuta. Bhutebhyo hi param yasmat nasti chinta chikitsate. This statement is very, very important. When we understand the evolution process of the Sankhya or the Indian knowledge systems, the first objects or the first actual matter which evolves is at the level of Panchmahabhuta. Beyond the Panchmahabhuta also things exist, but they are not available to us for the maintenance of health or the treatment. The things are available, just like Ahankar has been mentioned, Sattva Rajatama has been mentioned. These are all present, but are they available in the utilizable format? No, they are not available in the utilizable format. We cannot utilize beyond the Panchmahabhutas, we cannot utilize. The utilization begins at the level of Panchmahabhuta. Because as I told you, the basic principles of Ayurveda are twofold. All those principles which help in the attainment of my health, that is cure of the disease, as well as maintenance, that is Ahar and Aushadha. So these two will be the products of the Panchmahabhutas. Beyond the Panchmahabhuta, the things are not available. Where will you get Ahankara? Where will you get Sattvic Ahankara, Rajasic, Tamasic? No, they are not possible. So whenever we talk about the Panchmahabhutas, we talk about the first items which are available. That is why whenever we study the doshas, whenever we study the dhatus, malas, we try to understand their Panchmahabhutic Sangathan, that what is the utility of the Panchmahabhutas in understanding the physiology and pathology. Physiology and pathology can be understood with the help of the Panchmahabhutas only. Because as I told you, the first gross form is the Panchmahabhuta. Then comes the doshas, dhatus, and malas. Similarly, a unique concept which I have already talked, Bhautikani cha indriyani Ayurvede varnyante tatha indriyarthaha. All the indriyas are Bhautik in Ayurveda. That's why we are able, our Shalakya branch, thanks to the Panchmahabhutas, that the indriyas are said to be Panchbhautika, and that's why we are able to cure the diseases. Similarly, this next point is very important, which is the point of the Loka Purusha Samya also. The unity of microcosm with the macrocosm. Panchabhutatmake dehe aharaha panchbhautikaha. This is the base of Ayurveda. Ayurvedic dietetics, everywhere there is a lot of talk about the dietetics in Ayurveda. So this will be possible if we understand that when I'm drinking a glass of water as an external agent, now when I take it in my body, it transforms into the body water. This kind of thing we need to understand. Isn't it magical? Isn't it miraculous? When you are talking about the Panchbhautik Ahara, it transforms into the dhatus. So there is nothing new. So that is why the Panchbhautik Ahara, the food which we are taking, which are made up of Panchmahabhutas, they are again forming my body. I am what I eat. That is the basic principle of Ayurveda. That concept is to be always pondered over whenever we talk about the physiology of Ayurveda. Okay, so Panchabhutatmake dehe aharaha panchbhautikaha. They are transformed into the body tissues. They are transformed into the body tissues. So that's why this is very, very important to understand that the concept of Panchmahabhutas from the base of Ayurveda understanding. Coming to the next principle, which is the Loka Purusha Samya Siddhanta, which is again it is not a unique contribution of this Ayurveda. It is associated with the Indian knowledge traditions, which talking about the Yatha Pinde Tatha Brahmande, and that makes Ayurveda a holistic system of medicine. This single principle, Loka Purusha Samya Siddhanta, makes Ayurveda a holistic system of medicine, which always follows the nature. It is not anti-nature, which is this system makes Ayurveda unique. Because when we talk about the Western system of medicine or other system, they are talking about the antibiotics. Biotics means living. Anti means which is against those. So antibiotics they are never conducive to the body. They are not compatible with the body. But when we talk about Ayurveda, we talk about the gut flora, because our medicine is in unity with the nature. It is not against nature. That is the uniqueness of Ayurveda when we talk about the unity of macrocosm and the microcosm. That is Loka Purusha Samya. So human body, which is microcosm, is a miniature model of the universe. The constituents of the cosmos and those of the little cosmos within the human beings are similar. Their dealing with the environment are also same. You will find n number of examples in Ayurveda which talk about this Loka Purusha Samya Siddhanta. And it is not only theory. If you try to understand the whole world trying to talk about the climate change, the impact of climate change, the impact of the change of the seasons on health. So these things have to be understood in detail. Whatever material and spiritual phenomena are present in Purusha, the same are contained in the universe. This is again because health in Ayurveda is not only physical health. Health in Ayurveda is a comprehensive point. Samadosha, Samagnisha, Samadhatu, Malakriyaha, Prasannatmendriyamana, Swastitya Vidiyate. So here, again, this talks about the comprehensiveness of the Ayurveda. It is not only a physical science, it is beyond that. Some people rightly say, I have heard many scholars talking about that Ayurveda not only talks about the way to live a healthy life, how to live a peaceful life, it also talks about how to die peacefully. That is the uniqueness of Ayurveda. Why? Because there is a spiritual component associated with it, because we do not consider ourselves separate from the universe. We always consider the two together. We always consider the two in harmony. We do not segregate a microcosm from the macrocosm. So any alteration in the structure and function of the universe which is around us plays a significant role in etiopathogenesis of disease. So the cause of disease, any alteration and function in the structure and function of the universe, slightest of alteration affects us. That's why we talk about today of the misuses of mobile and the various harmful effects of mobile, because it is altering the function of the universe. It is altering the normal waves. So that alteration is affecting us. So that's why this unique concept of Indian knowledge systems to talk about the unity of macrocosm and microcosm is very, very important for all of us to understand, because whenever we do research, research should be harmony in the nature. Research should not be which is against the nature. So now we are just like a whole chapter has been dedicated in Ayurveda, namely in Charak Samhita, there is a talk of Janpadodvam Sadhyaya, which talks about this impact of climate change, which we call pollution or the greenhouse gases or carbon prints today. These are all the words, but actually they are all present in Ayurveda. So any kind of change in this that is altering us. So that's why you need to understand. Some examples are quoted here. Whatever our form, we have Prithvi. So that is again very interesting thing that you see in the earth also, maximum amount is of water. Similarly is in the body. Our body is having the maximum amount of water. So Prithvi is the murti with the form we are having. Upper, that is the clay or the moisture. Tejas, which is Santapa, which is approximately said to be 4%. Vayu, which forms about 6%. Akasha, which is Sushira, porosity. So each and every skin pores, they are also representing Akasha. That's why in Ayurveda we say, Srotomayoyam Purushaha. We are nothing but a union of these srotas, the channels, which are hollow structures. So we need to keep these structures pure and clean if we want to maintain our health. Similarly, when we talk about when we understand the pitta, we need to understand sun. For the understanding of kapha, we need to understand the moon. Similarly, darkness or ignorance, tama. So these are all some examples which are mentioned in the Shastra. Now here are some clinical examples we need to understand. The nature, see the observation, the nature. When we see the use of grapes, draksha phalottama, it is said that the draksha, the grapes, they are the best fruit. When we see the unity of these alveoli in the lungs and with the appearance of the plant itself, see, the nature has said this. The nature has given this, the unity of microcosm and macrocosm. We, the microcosm here, alveoli, they are having unity with the macrocosm in this universe. Okay. So when we use grapes, it prevents lesions of the alveoli. There are some pathological examples also explained. Kapala, some examples are given. Kapala, that is the parts of the pot, which are seen as a skin disease here. Skin disease you can see. Kapala. Udumbara, which is the ficus plant, we can see here. So resemblance in the nature and the human being. It is the unity of the microcosm and the macrocosm. Similarly, there is a disease under the Kushta called as Rikshajiva. See the tongue, same here, melanoma. Similarly, there is a fruit called Kakanaka. Kakanaka, again you see here. So see, it is just, these are only some of the examples. So many examples are quoted, even when we try to understand the Pundarikena Sadrasham Hridayam Sadadumukham. They have talked about the function of heart in just one line. They compare it with the lotus plant. In the morning, the lotus plant blooms. Similarly is with the heart of our body. It becomes active, it becomes active in the morning, and it attains rest in the night. Same thing happens in the world in the lotus plant. So these are some beautiful examples which are talking about the unity of microcosm and the macrocosm. Similarly, see, the acne, the very common disease, Yuvan Pidika. What we are using here, we are using the silk cotton tree, which is mentioned here. Silk cotton tree. So we see the beauty of nature. When it is one of the finest medicines for acne. Resemblance itself, significant activity against Propionibacterium acnes. We are using garlic cloves for stomach. See the resemblance of their structure. See the resemblance. Stomach and garlic cloves. So garlic cloves, they are digestive and carminative. So these are some of the examples which we see. Similarly, the pressure gradient, the whole breathing system, the coming down of the diaphragm decreases the pressure. So the air moves in. What a beautiful physics. You know that the air moves from high pressure to the low pressure. So these are some of the very simple examples which are talking about the unity of microcosm and the macrocosm, that is the yatha pinde tatha brahmande. These are only some of the examples. Similarly, we see kidneys, the peas are used. See the resemblance. The peas are said to be nephroprotective, having diuretic properties, lithotripsy. So these are all some of the examples which talk about the unity of the human and the environment, that is the world, that is unity of microcosm and the macrocosm. We are using this plant very commonly in the diseases of thyroid, which is, see the resemblance of this leaf and the gland. The resemblance of the shape of the leaf and the gland, it is again talking about the unity of the nature has given so much. The problem is that we are unable to see it, we are unable to observe it, we have forgotten all this. So coming to the importance of this, it talks about the context of harmony between man and environment, which is studied in the Western sciences as the ecology. Everyone is talking about the ecological balance. Ecology is the science which talks about the relationship of the man with his environment. You cannot be separate from your environment. There exists an interdependence between human and the universe. Association between them must be known in order to understand the imbalances and find the ways to re-establish the harmony. We need to understand the imbalance, which we will be able to by observing the nature, and the ways to re-establish the harmony. So this is all the talk of the town. Wherever you see in the UNO, United Nations, this is the talk of the hour. Everyone wants to talk about the impact of the climate change, okay, the impact of the greenhouse gases. So this is all explained in Ayurveda in terms of the, unity of the microcosm with the macrocosm. So coming to the last section of the topic which was assigned to me, which is the Samanya Vishesha theory, a very commonly used theory in Ayurveda. Actually, before understanding Samanya and Vishesha, we need to understand the Shad Padartha, the concept of Padartha itself. Padartha doesn't mean any physical object. Padartha means the power resting in a word. When I abuse someone, it creates certain response. When I praise someone, when I eulogize someone, it creates certain response. So this kind of response is because of Padartha. Padartha is beyond only your physical existence. So there are three characteristics of Padartha: that which exists, that can be named, and that can be seen or that can be perceived through various pramanas. So it means a valid object of experience, not merely the things of the physical world. So they are 6 in number: Dravya, Guna, Karma, Samanya Vishesh, and Samavaya, which because of the, I have to complete in 10 minutes, so I cannot talk about them in detail right now. So I will be coming directly to the Samanya, which is the topic assigned to me. Samanya is an abstract Padartha. Samanya talks about generality. Generality, just like whatever members are joined here, there is Samanta. It comes into my mind that we are all listening to the fundamental principles of Ayurveda. That is the Samanta right now. We are all a part of this course, 3-month course on research methodology and statistics. So this generality is an abstract characteristic that we need to understand. Ayurveda doesn't talk only about the physical things. It talks about the things which are beyond that. It is the abstract entity. It is singular and eternal. It is only one and it is eternal. Essence of the common characteristic, whenever we share certain values, just like when we say human species, it is a common characteristic which is Samanya, sometimes referred to as universality. 3 levels of universality are explained which are at the highest level, at the lowest level, at the intermediate level. I'm not going to the details. Highest level, that is our existence or being. That is the highest level. Lowest level is restricted to particular, just like Vata will have Vatatva. Intermediate level, just like we have the doshas, which will, there are 3 number. All the 3 will have the doshatva. When we talk about Vishesha or particularity, it is again a unique characteristic, which talks about the difference or uniqueness. When I say A is different from B, I am talking about Vishesha. It is again abstract because you cannot bring anything which is Vishesha. You can bring only Dravya, you can bring any physical substance, you can bring some quality, but you cannot bring Vishesha separately. So, this is again a unique feature that Kanada, that is the Vaisheshik philosopher, talked about the ultimate reality as the Vishesha. It talks about the ultimate reality as the Vishesha, which is the Parmanu. No science till date has ever reached that kind of level of the Parmanu. Similarly, it is present in the Nitya Dravyas. It is present in the eternal Dravyas. Now, what is the importance of that? That is my topic main focus. When, as I told you earlier, whatever we talk about in Ayurveda, it is only for the attainment of health, that is Dhatu Samya. Mere absence of disease is not our target. Ayurveda doesn't aim for mere absence of disease. It proceeds further. It goes up to the level of the Dhatu Samya. Are we able to reach the state of Dhatu Samya, that is the homogeneity of all the dosha, dhatu and mala? That is our target. So how do these 6 padarthas assist in the Dhatu Samya? One is the Dravya, which is the substance, food or medicine. For the Dhatu Samya, for the maintenance of the health, you require food or medicine. What is the difference between food and medicine? Acharyas have said, food is that which is dominant in taste. Aushadha, the medicine, is that which is dominant in specific effect or the potency. That is the difference. Food is that which is dominant in taste. Rasa pradhanam ahara dravyam. What is medicine? What is aushadha? Virya pradhanam aushad dravyam. That is the aushadha, that is medicine, is dominant in the potency. It will have particular function. Similarly, the guna, quality, the desired, the cause of selection or rejection of the drug or the food. Whenever you select a certain dravya, certain substance, be it medicine or be it food, you talk about its qualities, whether it is having desired qualities or not. Then it will have karma, the action. Then Samanya and Vishesh do the balancing act. That is very, very important. Samanya and Vishesh talk about the balancing act. So Samanya is going to increase, but what level of increase? Because again, if it crosses the limit, it is called as disease. Ayurveda talks about very systematic balance of the two. So Samanya causes increase, but there is Vishesh to check it, to balance it. So that's why they have talked about a mix of the 6 tastes in the Indian tradition of food. In our tradition, in all our cultures, the cuisines of India, Indian cuisines, there is a very good match of the Samanya and Vishesha. Balance of the doshas, balance of the dhatus, which is based on the Samanya and Vishesh theory. And then it talks about the Samavaya, which talks about the inseparable relation, which is the cause of, again, selection or rejection. So what is the utility in Ayurveda? Again, Samanya is said to be the first category, as I told you, because our science says that if you want to treat a patient, you have to avoid the cause. If you want to treat a disease, you need to avoid the cause. And cause is what? Cause is Samanya, the cause of increase. Just like a person, just like the students, particularly the scholars, just like on Sunday, they are going to appear for the NEET. Continuously, they are having insufficient sleep, which is causing the rise of Vata dosha. So which is the Samanya, which increases Vata. So this Vata has to, first you need to identify the cause of the disease, and then you need to avoid the cause. So for that, you need to have the knowledge of Samanya. That is why Samanya is placed at the first position in Ayurveda. which is unlikely, which is different from the Vaisheshik school, which talks about Samanya at the later stage, because there the Dravya, the substance is the base. Here, in practical terms in Ayurveda, we are placing it at the first category. It is the cause of oneness, it being generality. Vishesha is the cause of difference. Most of our treatments are based on the Vishesha, which is opposite, and it is the cause of decrease. So that is the importance of Samanya and Vishesha in Ayurveda. Now, when we come to the research in Ayurveda, as I told you earlier, that research in Ayurveda is not only talking about the searching for something new. The main task which is lying ahead of us is not searching for something new. The main task is going backwards, retrospectively, to look at the scientific veracity, scientific evidence behind the explanations in the Samhitas. That is our major challenge. Our challenge is not searching new. Our challenge is proving what is there in the Shastra, what is there in the text as valid. So speciality of these basic principles is going to help us in research, because as I told you, research in Ayurveda means establishing the relation between cause and effect, which is called as Karya and Karana. It is the scientific validation of existing knowledge propounded by the seers of yore. Similarly, it also talks about the searching for something which is not known till date. So, many principles and practices in Ayurveda, balanced diet, ahara, dietetics, ahar vidhi, exercise, vyayam, manasik swasthya, mental health, spiritual health, align with contemporary medical advice. And therefore, these Ayurvedic principles need to be studied through the contemporary science. This is our major challenge. And with the help of basic principles only, we are going to pursue, we are going to achieve this target. Because as I told you, you cannot imagine Ayurveda without basic principles. If you minus basic principles of Ayurveda, Ayurveda will just be a copy of the Western system of medicine. That is the crux of the discussion which we have had today. Now, coming to Samanya in research, Samanya can be interpreted as generalizability. We are taking some samples. Samples are representative of the population. And when we test the external validity, whether the sample is externally valid, reliable, or representative, then if we find the results as positive, if it is yes, then we generalize, when we take it to the general population, which is Samanya. If we do not get the results, then we do not do so. So in this way, I have tried to summarize the topics which are assigned to me. So in the end, I would like to end this with a very beautiful shloka of the Charak Samhita. Idameva udarartham ajnananam na prakashakam shastram drishti pranashtanam yathaiva aditya mandalam. It's very clearly said that this knowledge, because this is not an ordinary knowledge of Ayurveda, particularly of the basic principles, it is not an ordinary knowledge. So it can be shared only to those who deserve it, who have their full faith in it. Otherwise, it is going to be a big waste. So with these words, I thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity. I thank our administration of ITRA to give me this responsibility of having the representation of the ITRA in this very beautiful program of 3 months. So thank you one and all. Amitji, it's over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for delivering a wonderful session, sir. Now, I extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Vaibhav Dadu, sir, for gracing us with his invaluable insights and expertise in today's online session on basic concepts of Ayurveda. I would like to express our gratitude to all the participants for their active engagement and insightful questions. Uh, that's why we are here. And I would like to request all delegates, if there is any query, any doubt in regarding today's session, you are free to ask. Either write in the chat box or simply raise your hand so I can send you the unmute request. Yes, Dr. Gayatri.
Hello. Good
Yes.
evening, sir.
Yes, ma'am, please. Go ahead.
I am Gayatri. I'm currently working as junior research fellow.
Yes.
My doubt is that how we can apply the principle of Samanya and Vishesh, particularly in microbiology, because right now there has been a boom in the section of microbiology regarding the Ayurvedic medicines, Ayurvedic products. So in that we are growing cultures of microbes. So, to justify Ayurvedic effects, especially the karma of those drugs, how can we apply the principle when it
Yes.
comes to something like microbiology, which is not directly explained in the Samhitas?
Yes. See, your question again pertains to the, we are using actually the contemporary research methodology to understand Ayurveda. So that is the biggest challenge. And till date, we don't have actually the answers to this, because the research actually aims at the transformation of the subjective parameters to the objective parameters. But as you rightly said, the main problem which is lagging behind is the research on the Panchmahabhutas, how they are acting. And then comes the Samanya and Vishesh, because Samanya and Vishesh is an abstract entity. Samanya and Vishesh will not, it is a concept, it is not a reality. So Samanya and Vishesh will not be able to do directly what is going to act. When you are talking about the drugs, it is not the Samanya and Vishesh. Samanya and Vishesh only talk about the oneness which comes into your mind. What actually acts is the Dravya, Guna. Dravya and Guna is that which acts. So your point actually talks about the Dravya and Guna. So in the Dravya, you have to talk about the what are the Dravyas which are producing similar result in that particular microbe. Then you can talk about Samanya or any other Dravya which is producing some unique effect or unique action. Then that has to be considered as Vishesha. Because Samanya and Vishesh do not act on their own. Samanya and Vishesh are not the realities. They are the abstract entities. So you cannot directly take them to research. It is just a concept. Only thing you can take into research directly is the Dravya. And then when you observe that the two Dravyas are producing the similar result, then you go for generalization, which will be Samanya. Or when we talk about the Vishesha, some drug or certain Dravya is producing a specific effect, then you have to consider it as Vishesha. That can only be the answer possible, I think. And I will again study some more. And if I get the answers, I will be sharing with the organizers.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
There is one more query from Dr. S. Rai wrote in the chat box that how to use the principle of Panchmahabhuta in treatment, as if we have to decrease Prithvi, then what should be the line?
Yes, see, if we want to decrease Prithvi, you want to increase the Akasha. What we do in the Ama, your question is very good question. See, when there is a concept of Ama in Ayurveda. In Ama, what happens is that the Prithvi Mahabhuta gets increased. And that too in not in the actual position. It is some intermediate product. So what is our line of treatment? We go for Langhana. What does Langhana do? Langhana increases the Vayu and the Akasha. So that is very important concept which you said. So Prithvi leads to the heaviness, it is the mass. Just like I will give you a simple example of the earlier chulas, the Indian cooking was done on chulas or sigris. When there was too much of fuel, too much of coal, the Agni gets doused. अग्नि नहीं रहती है वहां पर यदि बहुत ज्यादा आपने बहुत ज्यादा कोयला और ये रख दिया है तो. So what is the method? You remove the obstruction, you blow air into it, and then again the Agni, the fire gets illuminated. That is the method which is same occurring in the body. When the Prithvi Mahabhuta gets increased, you have to try to increase the Akasha and Vayu. The best treatment possible is Langhana. We do the Langhana. Langhana is the first line of treatment.
I hope, Dr. Esra, you get the answer to your query. And Dr. Niranjan, your query is valid, but will be described in a further session when on 8th May, on when we discuss the Prakriti by our respected resource person.
Fine.
How to apply concept of Samanya Siddhanta in eye disorder, asked by Dr. Vipul Supra, sir.
Yes, yes. Your question is again, Samavaya talks about the inseparable relation. It talks about the inseparable relation. So when you are choosing a dravya, a drug, how do you choose a drug? We choose a drug based on its gunas, the qualities. And you know that, just like I'm giving you an example, just like when I choose a drug called shunthi or sot, then what happens? I know that this is having ushnata in samvaya sambandha. That is inseparable, always be present. So I choose the drug. Similarly, what are you going to do? Whenever you choose the drugs, just like for the tarpan, you are using the dhrita or the jivantyadi dhrita for tarpan, netra tarpan. You know that these dravyas, this dravya is having the quality which is helping in the disorders of eye. So it is not about samvaya. Again, I would like to clarify one thing very clearly, because actually this is the problem that we are not able to understand the Padartha Vijnana in the first year of BMS. That is why I think that is creating problem. So when we talk about the Shat Padarthas, 6 categories, please try to understand the 2 groups of them. One group is that which actually exists in physical form, which are the dravya, that is the substance, gunas, the quality, and the karma, which is the action. And the remaining 3, that is samanya, vishesha, and samavaya, do not exist in physical format. Please try to understand. They are just concepts, they are abstract. So when we say about how to use, how to apply the samavaya, samvaya cannot be applied directly. Samvaya is to be applied in choosing the drugs having the desired qualities. Okay, you understand this? So whenever you choose certain drugs with the help of the shastras, with the help of the various books available, so the choice of the drug depends on their quality, because you know that if this is the drug, this will have this quality in the samvaya sambandha. Samvaya means inseparable. They are inseparable. So this kind of relationship, when you observe, this is the cause of selection or rejection. And that is why samavaya is used. I think that is clear, I think.
I hope all participants get answer to their queries. If any query remaining, you can mail us, you can WhatsApp me, so I can contact with sir and revert you as soon as possible.
Okay.
So thank you very much, sir, for delivering a wonderful session and a wonderful query discussion round. Once again, thank you, our respected resource person for today's session, Dr. Vaibhav Dadu, sir, for your enlightening session. We look forward to more opportunities to learn from your expertise in upcoming session. I announce to all delegates that there are 2 more sessions will be delivered by sir in further programs. So this is the end of today's session, and tomorrow we again starts at 6 p.m. The basic concepts of Dosha Dhatu and Mala that will be delivered by Dr. Nisha Parmar ma'am. So be on time. This is the end of today's session. Again, thank you so much, sir, for delivering a wonderful and nice session, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot. Okay.